This journey began 18 months ago. I had something to do with it, but you had much more to do with it than I did. I'm the messenger. I'm just the messenger. And we were tired, and I love you. Believe me, I love you. We all got tired of seeing what was happening. And we wanted change, but we wanted real change. And I look so forward to tomorrow. We're going to see something that is going to be so amazing. We're going to make America great for all of our people, everybody throughout our country. That includes the inner cities, that includes everybody. I promise you that I will work so hard. We're going to get it turned around. We're going to bring our jobs back. We're not going to let other countries take our jobs any longer. We're going to build up our great military. We're going to build it up. We're going to strengthen our borders. We're going to do things that haven't been done for our country for many, many decades. It's going to change. I promise you, it's going to change. I'll see you tomorrow. And I don't care, frankly, if it's going to be beautiful or if it's going to rain like crazy. Makes no difference to me. I have a feeling it's going to be beautiful. But I will see you tomorrow, and I'm going to be cheering you on. You're going to cheer me on, but I'm going to be cheering you on because what we've done is so special. All over the world, they're talking about it, all over the world. And I love you folks, and we're going to work together, and we are going to make America great again, and I'll add, greater than ever before.
All eyes are on Donald Trump as he gets ready to move into the White House. His election has cheered some Israeli officials after he made several pro-Israel statements on the campaign trail.
When I become president, the days of treating Israel like a second-class citizen will end on day one.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has hailed Trump as a friend of Israel. In a break with previous administrations, Trump has pledged to relocate the U.S. Embassy in Israel from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, a promise applauded by Israel's right wing, but decried by the Palestinian leadership. The U.S. and most UN member states do not recognize Jerusalem as capital of Israel. They say the Jewish state has illegally occupied and annexed the east of the city, whose status is one of the thorniest issues of the decades-long conflict. This expert warns it could even lead to a new uprising.
Intifadas have broken out for less. And it would be a shame if for something that Israel does not really need, it would be first of all Israeli civilians who paid the price.
In recent weeks, protests against Donald Trump have broken out in the Palestinian territories, but also in Israel. Among other issues the new U.S. leader will be scrutinized over after he enters the Oval Office, the Iranian nuclear deal and Israeli settlements in the occupied West Bank.
Any demagogue or any person or anybody who is pessimistic and cynical and wants to say we're heading down or we can't make it through, they're wrong. The United States of America knows how to make it through. I'm actually very optimistic about the future. I know some of you accuse me of having blind optimism. No, it's not blind. But I am optimistic. T.S. Eliot said to us all that, you know, that an end is actually a beginning because it's a place where you start from. I'm leaving here with that sense. This is not an end. This is a beginning. It's a new beginning. It's a new chapter. I'm excited about it. And I hope all of you will be excited about the new chapter that you can help write here as proud and unbelievably committed employees of the United States State Department. Thank you so much for the privilege of working with you. Thank you. Thank you.
No, not at all. Neither he nor his advance team had any indication of what I was going to say in the introduction. And by the way, in my introduction, as you accurately noted, I did not say anything about cults or Mormonism or didn't mention Mitt Romney by name. All of this came about as a result of some reporters' questions after the introduction, in which one reporter asked me why I personally would not vote for a Mormon, and that's really what set all of this off.
So let me ask you, why did you even decide to bring this up now and bring up the issue of Mormonism and the fact that you believe that it's a cult? I mean, it was debated and discussed in 2008.
Right. Well, again, Kara, I'm not the one who brought it up. A reporter asked me, and, you know, my primary role is not of a politician or a pundit. I'm a pastor, and when somebody asks me a theological question about Mormonism, I have a responsibility to tell the truth. This is no surprise, as you said. I'm not a Jeremiah Wright on the fringe making fanatical statements. Mormonism has never been considered a part of evangelical historic Christianity. I believe Mitt Romney's a good, moral man. If it's a choice between Mitt Romney and the general election and Barack Obama, I will vote for Mitt Romney.
I understand, but Pastor, I understand that you're saying that you responded to reporters, but you introduced Rick Perry. He's running for President of the United States. You're a supporter of his. And we asked Perry what he thought about what you said. This is what he told our reporters right after.
I just wondered if you associated yourself with the comments of this way.
I answered your question. No, I don't think it is. Thank you all.
All right, now here's a man that you support. He's saying right there to reporters he doesn't agree with what you said with regard to Mormonism being a cult. So does this change your mind about him and how you feel about him?
Oh, not at all. Listen, there are plenty of reasons. I believe conservative evangelicals ought to vote for Rick Perry over Mitt Romney, and Mormonism is just one issue for evangelical Christians. But I think an equal issue is going to be Governor Romney's lack of consistency on some core issues to those of us who are evangelicals, like the abortion issue. I think many conservatives are suspect of his flip-flopping on that issue, and because of that, they had grave doubts about his suitability to be the conservative candidate for president.
All right. Romney, as you know, is a very successful businessman, since we're talking about issues now. He's been a CEO of a very successful company. In addition to running a state, many people believe he would be a very competent chief executive to run this nation in brutal economic times. So are you suggesting that religious beliefs should trump competence to be president?
Yes, to religious people, Kara, religion matters. And I'm a pastor. I was speaking to a group of conservative evangelicals, and I said in my introduction of Governor Perry, I certainly tout his economic platform, his success in Texas, but what I care about most as a Christian is his stance on biblical issues like the sanctity of life and the sanctity of marriage. And Governor Perry has a strong, long track record of being consistent. For example, he signed the Texas sonogram bill. He defunded Planned Parenthood. Those things are important to those of us who are evangelical Christians.
Understand, we know you support Rick Perry, but what does religion have to do with being a competent president? And I'm talking about specifically what you said about Mitt Romney.
Well, John Jay was the first Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court, the author of the Federalist Papers, and he said, quote, "We have a duty and a privilege as Christians to select and prefer Christians as our leaders." I hardly think John Jay was a bigoted person. The fact is, those of us who are evangelicals have every right to prefer and select a competent Christian over a competent non-Christian. And again, Kara, it's not the only issue, but it's certainly one issue that we who are evangelicals are going to consider.
Well, let me throw something back at you then. Let's talk about Article 6, Paragraph 3 of the Constitution that says says there's no religious test to being president. So are you going against the Constitution?
Kara, that is an outrageous statement. That refers to government cannot impose a litmus test. But as individual citizens, we have every right to impose litmus tests of the kind of person we prefer. I mean, is it bigoted to choose a conservative over a liberal or a liberal over conservative? You can show preference without being a bigot and certainly without violating the Constitution. The most simple constitutional student knows that Article 6 applies to government imposing no test. It has nothing to say about individuals having their own test.
You know, in the industrial time, we make everything that is not standard become standard. And in the digital time, we should make every standard thing unstandard. So creativity is something that we can win the machines. And I think by working with the sports is not like, it's only about muscle. Sports is about brain, sports is about the creation. And I think we want making sure that Olympics, that's President Bachmann, the Agenda 2020, is that we want to get more young people involved. We want more creation inside in this game. This is, we feel that we will make sports more creative. We should make sports, which my belief, right? I don't want to say it's the. If you want to be successful, you should have the EQ. But if you don't want to fail, you should have the IQ. But if you want to be respected, you should have the LQ, the Q of love. And these three Qs, by sports, is the best way to train your EQ and the LQ. If you do not respect your competitors, if you do not respect your team, you will never have a chance to win. So this is what we love about this is creativity.
When he met visiting Chinese Vice Foreign Minister Liu Zhenmin, Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte said he will visit China in May to attend the One Belt One Road International Cooperation Summit Forum, and he looked forward to meeting Chinese President Xi Jinping again. China and the Philippines agreed that territorial disputes in the South China Sea were a small part of bilateral relations, and they agreed to set up a bilateral consultation mechanism to deal with issues that arise in the region. The two sides agreed to implement the Declaration on the Code of Conduct on the South China Sea together with other ASEAN countries and finish the drafting of the Code of Conduct by the middle of this year.
这个叫做一个古代的就仕女处女。中国的这个足球运动啊，可以追溯到2300年，但是这幅画呢是源自于这个500-600年前的明代的一幅古画。我们是用这个苏绣，苏州的那个著名的刺绣做成的。这个展现了这个中国悠久的这种运动传统。这就是当年呢用的蹴鞠的足球颜色，当年2000多年前，包括这个1-2000年前的打马。
我想以后摆出来以后，我们的很多这个英国的访客会对这个戏剧化表演兴趣。
Now, the attack that occurred early Wednesday morning killed dozens, and the Security Council has condemned it as a barbaric act for which the terrorist group Al Murabitun has claimed responsibility. Addressing the 15-member council, a clearly frustrated UN peacekeeping chief Hervé Latsus said the objective behind the attack was to derail the peace process already at a critical juncture. He noted that little significant progress has been made in the 18 months following the signature of the Agreement for Peace and Reconciliation in Mali, and that raises questions about the will and commitment of its signatories. Latsus also asked the Council to consider imposing targeted measures against those violating the ceasefire and voluntarily impeding the peace process. Mali's Foreign Affairs Minister Abdoulaye Diop raised concerns about the humanitarian situation at home. warning that terrorist groups in the Cadell region were hindering aid and social services, attacking civilians, and conducting illicit activities to fuel a criminal economy. Council members have been concerned as well about the slow implementation of the peace deal, and the meeting served as a means to identify issues and priorities before the mission's mandate is due for renewal in June. Li Lingtan, CGTN, New York.
Ooh, a lot of folks are upset about this morning, and in fact, they're calling for a boycott of the movie A Dog's Purpose. After a video was leaked from the movie set, we have to let you know right off the bat the dog is okay. The video originally published on TMZ, the German Shepherd Hercules, you can see him there, unwilling to perform a stunt in rushing water. You can see the dog shaken. Later in the video, Hercules appears to be in danger of drowning when he does get in the water. The producers and distributor of the movie are defending themselves. Michael Lanos has more on this. Anybody that loves pets or dogs or animals, this might be upsetting for them.
We want answers, right? We see this video. You pointed out Hercules is okay. Cannot say that enough as we watch this video again. Hercules doesn't want any part of it. A little more background on this, Michaela. The video shot November 2015. You can hear someone saying, you know, maybe the dog's afraid of the water. Maybe it's too cold. You just got to throw him in there. So we're not sure who says that in the full context here. But here's the statement from producer of the movie, Amblin Entertainment, A Dog's Purpose, again, the name of the movie, the distributor, Universal Studios. They're maintaining safe environment for animals, saying, while we continue to review the circumstances shown in the edited footage, Amblin is confident that great care and concern was shown for the German Shepherd Hercules, as well as for all the other dogs featured throughout the production of the film. On the day of the shoot, Hercules did not want to perform the stunt portrayed on the tape, so the Amblin production team did not proceed with filming that shot. Hercules is happy and healthy. Now, for some, that is not enough. PETA is calling for a boycott of the movie. Here's part of their statement saying PETA is calling on dog lovers to boycott the film in order to send the message that dogs and other animals should be treated humanely and they're not movie props. So one more thing for context here. The movie, again, is called A Dog's Purpose, and basically we're traveling with the spirit of the dog who goes from dog to dog. Let's just see a little bit of the trailer.
Good boy, Bailey. Gonna miss you. And then it happened. I was back. I didn't have I'm a girl? Good girl, good girl. I had a new purpose. I was needed again.
In the scene there, you even get to see the German Shepherd in the water. So there's a taste of things right there. We reached out to the American Humane Association. No comment as of yet. So we'll keep following, Michaela.
Senator Wyden, I've got a Valium pill here that you might want to take before the second round. Just a suggestion, sir.
Just another suggestion. We've got a lot of colleagues waiting. If you could be brief, it would be helpful.
I'm going to be very brief. Mr. Mnuchin, from the distinguished ranking member's remarks, I understand you were in charge of the Great Recession. Banks.
Mr. Chairman, I hope that comment about Valium doesn't set the tone for 2017 in this committee. I like Senator Roberts, but I just can't quite believe that he would say that to a distinguished senator from Oregon.
I said that to the President of the United States at one time.
Perhaps you did.
Yeah.
But I would hope that doesn't set the tone for the session.
It was
Mr. Chairman,
all right.
I sit on.
I have the time, please.
Senator
I have the time.
The relationship we're building is so different from this.
I have the time,
please.
This
is just outrageous.
Listen, I don't know about outrageous, but I think just a little pinprick of humor might help this committee from time to time, which I engage in.
More than 60% of DOE's budget deals with nuclear energy. I think many Americans were concerned about President-elect Trump's remarks regarding allowing or supporting more countries around the world to get nuclear weapons. The United States, under Democratic and Republican administrations for many, many decades now, has been strong in saying that we want not to be testing nuclear weapons. Can you give us some assurance that you are within the mainstream in saying that testing of nuclear weapons is a dangerous idea?
Senator, what I can tell you is I think it's really important for the United States to have a nuclear arsenal that is modern, that is safe, and you know, at this particular point in time, I think if we had General Klotz here, he would tell you that that's probably the case, that he's
Question was dealing with nuclear testing.
Yes, sir.
Will you support the ban on nuclear testing?
And that's where I was getting to, is that obviously the scientists that we have at the DOE, the scientists in the private sector, I'm going to rely upon their observations of whether there is clear technical ability to use the technology that we have today. I think anyone would be of the opinion that if we don't ever have to test another nuclear weapon, that would be a good thing, not just for the United States, but for the world.
Like many young Filipino girls, 26-year-old Ria Rabahante has dreamed of becoming a beauty queen since she was little.
The first time I was able to watch a pageant was during Miriam Kimbao's time. I watched her on the television during her Miss Universe pageant, and I remember my relatives telling me that I kind of look like her. And
you do, yeah.
Oh yeah. So yeah, since then I had this idea of maybe I should try it out as well.
She grew up indeed having the looks and the height for it, so she did. She joined the Miss Philippines pageant for the first time in 2013 and again in 2015. She didn't win both times, so she's going to try her luck again for the last time this year.
I'd pray many times for it to go away. Like, if it's not really for me, can just the desire of wanting it go away? But then every time I think about it, it keeps coming back, and even every night I would think about it. So I think there's nothing to lose if I'll be doing it again.
Miss Universe.
Who knows? She might even do a Pia Wurtzbach. The reigning Miss Universe also joined the Miss Philippines pageant 3 times before she got to wear the crown. And it was here, in this studio where Rabahante now spends her weekends, that Wurtzbach was groomed.
This isn't the only beauty pageant training camp in the Philippines, but so far trainers here have been the most successful. They produced 1 Miss World titleist and 1 Miss Universe titleist.
Beauty queen makers Jonas Gafud and Arnold Mercado say their passion comes from their love for beauty pageants.
Since I was young, I always watched beauty pageants and even taped the Miss Universe and Binibining Pilipinas pageant.
Really?
Yeah,
you have a collection?
Yes, and I have
do?
these clippings, newspaper clippings, which I got from our library at UP then.
And get this, they devote their time and effort without asking for a single penny in return.
We don't want mediocre performances. And you teach them, you train them, you give them your time. They have to think about it. And they have to love what they do.
From girls wanting the crown on their head to adoring fans. That love for beauty pageants is something that's hard to miss in this country. Barnaby Lowe, CGTN, Manila.
It's the first day of the winter session at the University of Michigan Dearborn. Among the 9,500 students on campus, there are some 1,500 from overseas, like Tianyu Peng from China.
We have students who are interested.
Suhaila Amen advises international students, and she says as Donald Trump prepares to become the next U.S. president, more and more students are posing troubling questions.
So students are concerned about their future when it comes to immigration policies and how they could negatively impact their ability to come to the country and study here in the United States.
Amen says Trump is cultivating an environment that not only punishes immigrants, but will also end up hurting the United States.
When we're limiting the potential of bringing in these extraordinary minds, it's doing nothing but causing detriment to us as a nation.
Not far from the Dearborn campus, the Ford Motor Company recently announced it was scrapping plans to build a billion-dollar plant in Mexico, instead investing hundreds of millions of dollars to upgrade its operations in Michigan.
And I think you're seeing it, the Trump effect. And he hasn't even taken office yet. He's starting to have an effect and an impact.
I went to 3 Trump rallies where I was
got VIP seating.
Brian Panabacker is an unabashed Trump supporter and a 20-year Ford worker. He is counting on Trump to restore manufacturing jobs to the so-called Rust Belt of the United States. But many believe those jobs are gone for good, leading to a bitterly divided nation.
Well, I think it's the left being divisive, and it's typical of the type of relations we've had in this country since Barack Obama became president.
My determination is stronger than ever.
Barack Obama was a popular president in the Detroit area, home to one of the largest concentrated Arab populations outside of the Middle East, and in the suburb of Dearborn, where half of the 90,000 residents are Muslim. Many in the Arab American communities in Dearborn, Michigan, believe that life will become more polarized under a Trump presidency. And they say Trump's campaign rallying cry of "Make America Great Again" rings hollow among many communities across the United States.
And I think it was definitely coded language for Make America White Again.
I think he's definitely looking to appeal to people who want to turn the clock back.
There seems to be just one thing all in Michigan can agree upon.
It's extremely polarized. There's no denying that. Yeah, come on out, Sean. Let me show you some of the political paraphernalia I've got out here.
One side sees immigration reform, a reduction in corporate taxes, a bump in blue-collar jobs, and a return to greatness. The other sees something far different.
Well, my initial reaction is America has never been great for all people. It's always been, I would say, great for only certain populations of this country, which for a very long time was white men.
That's totally false. I think Donald Trump really is a uniter, and he's very inclusive.
The next 4 years will determine if that's true and whether Trump can deliver on his promise of more jobs. Sean Calebs, CGTN, Dearborn, Michigan.
At least 15 school children have been killed and dozens injured after a bus collided with a truck in India's northern province of Uttar Pradesh. A speeding truck hit the school bus, which was reportedly carrying around 50 children. Police said the toll was likely to rise as some children were critically injured. Local media cited fog as the main cause of the accident.